SunTV. Today I have with me a couple of guests. I have Jacqui from the Cooperative Extension Office in Butler and Harrell with the County Economic Development Office. And we're going to be talking today about a new initiative that could potentially bring some business and industry to the county. A new initiative that came down from the state, well actually from the federal government and into the state. So I'm going to let Jacqui talk a little bit about how this came to be. She was instrumental in presenting the plan for this, and Choctaw County got chosen as an opportunity zone, and she can explain more to you about how that came about.
Yes, back in February, as part of the Tax Reform Act of 2017, money was handed down to states, or will be handed down through a tax deferment program with opportunity zones. And each governor reached out to Extension and in Alabama, Auburn University, and asked us to write up for our zone reasons why we would qualify for an opportunity zone or qualify as an opportunity zone. We got this into the governor about the middle of February. Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
Yes, ma'am.
And when she released the information 2 to 3 weeks later, our zone was chosen and it went to Washington and has been approved.
Yes, as of last week, through the IRS, it is official. Choctaw County Census Tract that was nominated through the Extension Office is an official opportunity zone. So, very excited to have that. And just thank you, Ms. James, for taking the time and pushing that through, because we were just looking beforehand. A lot of areas that might have benefited from that through lack of commitment or lack of dedication, whatever you want to call it, didn't make it up to the top of the chain in Washington, D.C., but thanks to you and everybody working hard here, we made it up to the federal level.
What was some of the criteria that they might have looked at that made Choctaw County be chosen?
They looked at the poverty rate, declining population, the school systems. We lose 3% of our population every year, and they extrapolate that over time, and within 10 years we're going to be in need of business and industry. So hopefully this grant will bring money into Choctaw County. That is the purpose of the opportunity zone. And this is for investors who have a lot of capital gains. And they can go short term and defer capital gains for a year. The mid one is 5 years, and if they will invest for 10 years, they have to pay no capital gains on the money they earn.
So this is from the tax package that was pushed through when most of us got a tax break.
Exactly.
So this is that same law.
Yes, it was a part
involved
of that.
in that. Mm-hmm. So that, if I understand right, if a business or industry chooses to locate here, they get tax breaks, and like she was talking about, a deferment of capital gains for a period of time.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Well, you know, as I said, it is part of the Tax Reform and Jobs Act. So anytime you get tax and the IRS involved, it can be a lot of hoops to jump through. But there's a great website, Ms. James, I believe you've got it written down, that if you want to know a little bit more about this, it's eig.org. Please, we invite you to go check that out, read for yourself. A lot of great information on there. But in short, like Ms. James just said, it's an investment initiative program. A company comes in to our opportunity zone and stays for 10 years. Any capital gains off their investment in Choctaw County's opportunity zone is not taxed. You hold that for 10 years, I believe.
It is.
We have a sheet printed off from eig.org. Now listen to this. This is outstanding. You keep this for 10 years. You have an investment of, say, $100. After 10 years, your after-tax value in 2028 would be $176. A return percentage of 5.8. I believe that's about 3 percentage points higher than if you would not be in an opportunity zone. So you start talking to a business owner about having a 3% extra return on their investment, that's going to perk up a lot of ears, and that's going to say, well, hey, I can't get this anywhere else but Choctaw County. It's a big tool that we're going to have going forward when we start marketing what we have here and how we can help you as a business owner. So.
Exactly.
Well, there were other states that also took advantage of this. How many states actually were involved and took advantage of the fact?
Took advantage. Now, those that took advantage, I'm going to say it's about half, and we have a map You can tell by the map the areas in Alabama that qualify and will receive money, and then the rest of the United States and territories that apply and more qualified.
So Governor Ivey is the one that selected those areas
Yes.
from the presentations y'all put together.
Exactly.
So we can thank her, we can thank
Yes,
the
we can.
administration in Washington for this, and
And-
we hope that this turns into something that will draw, the goal is to draw people here, to draw business here, so that our population that we can stop the
Decline in population.
and bring people in to provide jobs.
Exactly.
So that people don't have to leave to go find jobs. There's been a lot going on in the county in recent time, in the last year, couple of years in particular. I mean, this has been an ongoing problem that didn't just start overnight with the lack of jobs here and the lack of injury and the population decline. But in recent months, well, since last year, we've had a good push for more workforce development and some initiatives that we hope are going to make a change.
Right.
And we're seeing some of that come to pass. Yesterday, Monday, we were involved in a meeting that included the Vice Chancellor of the Community College Systems for the state. A very interesting and informative meeting that looks like it might turn out to be something very lucrative for Choctaw. Can you talk a little bit about that, Nick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, like Ms. Campbell said, we were happy to have Mr. Jeff Lynn, who's the Vice Chancellor of the Alabama Community College System, in. And among other things, he's been called the Warren Buffett of workforce development. And to have somebody of that kind of stature here in Choctaw County is just a really big deal, to know that we were on his radar and we're on other people's radar. Very excited. I was telling Ms. James we've got a meeting next week. Going to be talking and trying to advance this a little further, because one of the main themes that you heard in the meeting was we've talked. This was our third in a series of meetings. We've talked. We've got a great round idea of what we need, what industries we need to help, whether it be healthcare, the forestry industry, out there with the paper mill. I know they're big partners with this. So we're going to be able to push forward, get a plan of action put together, and hopefully by the end of June, we should be able to know where we're able to do, if we're able to move forward on this. And I've got a pretty good feeling that I think we'll be able to make some really good progress by now and the end of June.
Well, there are several factors that we see that industries or businesses who are looking to locate somewhere look at when they come to Choctaw County, and some of those things they have not seen, which is why they haven't chose to come here. One thing is an educated and skilled workforce, which is what that initiative is all about. The other thing is a 4-lane highway that we don't have. And we do have other things, and now we have the opportunity through opportunity zones to give them another incentive to come here.
Exactly.
So
Can I say something? I don't mean it. I was at and Ms. James was there too. As you can see, we partner a lot in things. The University of West Alabama hosted a Rural Technology Summit. And there was a speaker, and he said something that really struck me, because you do hear that a lot from people is, well, we don't have a 4-lane highway. You look at 6 of the poorest counties in the state of Alabama, they all have an interstate running right through them.
That's true.
They all have an interstate. Like you said, the key is you've got to have a skilled workforce. We talked about it Monday. We're not just starting, now. We're going to try and get them when they're in high school, students in their high school, pushing dual enrollment or whatever. We've talked about proposing a workforce development center within the county that can cater to not only those high school students, but also adults as well. So above all else, we're focusing on our workforce. Infrastructure, yes, that's important. But if you don't have your people in place, if you don't have them with the necessary skills, you're not going to be able to move forward. So again, we're making a lot of great steps, but it's people over infrastructure.
And the opportunity zones will be a huge tool to use for those people, especially if we've got people who are learning skills, and we've got the places, we've obviously got facilities.
Right.
We've got some buildings that are not being used.
Right.
We've got other properties that could be developed. And now we have the ability to tell people, well, if you come here and you place your industry or business here, you can get some financial assistance.
Relief.
Relief from this initiative. How long does this take? How long is this initiative?
Well, right now, the banks are looking at getting involved because they want to know how much money they can lend out that will be repaid with this opportunity zone funding. And we're probably looking at 6 months to a year But this came on the heels of Mr. Harrell having us certified as an ACT work-ready community. You want to expound a little bit on how you did that?
Yeah, absolutely. And ACT Work Ready is one of the gold standards when when a company is looking to say what is the quality of this area's workforce. We were actually only the 4th county in the state to achieve that certification, joining Tuscaloosa County, Mobile County, and Sumter County. We were number 4, and we don't have a major research university or a major population base like some of those other counties do. So the fact that we were able to achieve that shows that we are really doing more with less. So again, that comes from having proactive people in the community, proactive people in our local government, people like you, Ms. Campbell, out there, helping with businesses, a small business like the Choctaw Sun, showing that you can be successful in this area. It just sets a good example for other companies that say, hey, I can make it here in Choctaw County.
Well, one of the things that was discussed in the meeting, and one of the things that I believe that will be beneficial with the opportunity zones and some other things that are going on, is that, training the workforce is a really good thing, but we want to make sure that when we train them, we're not training them to go elsewhere.
Right.
Exactly.
We're training them for skills that they're going to be able to use here in this area, in this region, so that we can keep our population here, like Ms. James was talking about with population decline. We got another census coming up soon, and we'll see what our population stands at then. But we tend to lose about 1,000 every time we do a census, and we need to put the brakes on that.
Right.
And the key to that really is to provide jobs so that people don't have to leave to find work. And what is happening in our schools as well, their enrollment declines are directly related to the fact that young families are having to go elsewhere to survive and to thrive. And so they take their children with them. That takes them out of our school. So that means a lot of times they don't come back here.
Absolutely.
So all this is interrelated. It all works together.
And as you're saying, the decline in enrollment at the school system, if you have a school, as a system, if we lose 20 students, you're losing 3 teacher units. Over time, that adds up to about $225,000 in income that would be coming to Choctaw County.
I don't really think that people see those dollar signs connected to the children in schools like that.
No, they do not.
Like that. Well, I appreciate y'all being
with
us
yes, ma'am.
today. Y'all are welcome back anytime. We'd like to come back again and talk some more about what the Chamber is doing. Nick, of course, is the Executive Director of the Chamber. Ms. James is actually now the President of the Board of Directors for the Chamber. And maybe we can come back a little bit and talk about, just elaborate on Chamber actions and activities that are going on and what's coming up in just a little while with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of neat ideas getting floated around, so something for the community to come out and enjoy and everybody have a good time with. So
we got a hot dog supper coming up really
soon.
We do.
We do have our first annual hot dog cookout.
Yeah,
so we're going to be anxious.
And that'll be at the American Legion Hall this year. That'll be up and going. We hope we're going to see that completed here shortly, and we'll be there to celebrate not only that, but to talk to the Chamber members and give them a little bit of a good time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank y'all for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
One more thing?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
We'd like to push our 4-H Clover campaign, and I'm going to leave one here, and we have the donation buckets. This all goes to our youth in the county. This money does not leave Choctaw County, and it brings programs to youth.
We love 4-H.
Yes, we do.
It's great for children.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Thank y'all for being here today. That's our show for today. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you on Friday.